Hello,
Well, regardless, you're welcome.
my name is Dana. It's nice to meet you.
I had no idea.
I've literally never done this
Yeah,
before.
right.
I don't really use the phone much, so I'm learning everything. You know, how to use this and some other pages, Instagram and
Well, I think that too.
TikTok.
Shouldn't trust
I only
what
really
both
ever
ways
used
scarce
Facebook,
understand.
but that was after MySpace.
I do everything that you
I
ask.
remember when MySpace came out, and that was
I always come when you call.
pretty cool.
And I am your friend.
And then,
Still, despite your
I don't know, just on and off throughout the years, I stopped using the page, especially once it all started to change.
and again,
And
has anyone but your closest kid ever done more for you?
I watch everybody doing their makeup and their hair, and a lot's different. I mean, everything's different in the world. So
I came to tell you that
I started doing this because
back.
today is like February 18th, I think.
The one time I asked.
And my husband of 18 years
Stand down.
had a heart attack
Damn
a couple days after Christmas,
You know that, right?
24.
Well, no thanks.
He was in the hospital for a month, and I thought he was going to be fine. He said he was going to be fine.
Kiss my ass.
But then he told them to stop taking the medicines. He didn't want to take the medication anymore. And that was that. The thing is that I started working for him in the deli. Not this one. When I was 16. And we fell in love over the years and married at 18. We've had 4 beautiful children. One was adopted into the family. And I have my beautiful little Vanabelle with me. She's 7. And she's having a hard time dealing with this right now. He was not home a lot. He always worked. He was just always sitting in that chair. And he's had a few delis over the years. This was the most recent. He's had this one for about 8 years, but as you can see, it's empty. He had some bad habits. No drugs or drinking, stuff like that, but he made a lot of enemies. And I did what I thought I was supposed to. I stayed home and raised the kids and took care of the house and him.
If it makes you feel better to call me that, fine. You're from freaking.
Like in 2010, I got sick because my dad died when I was 15. It was a surprise, and
I am what I am, Bobby.
I didn't know what that was.
I didn't ask those idiots to crack the
And
door.
it took
I just happened to be the thing that fell through.
a good 10 years, a little more, to actually even begin to start
I'm
grieving
on my
for
side.
him
I happen to like it here.
and accepting his
I don't want to see
passing.
this place turn into some bloody wasteland. So you killed H.P. Lovecraft?
So
Please.
I'm alone now.
Hello.
Don did everything. He kept me in the house.
Why do you think I gave Dean the sword?
I just started coming back out
You guys were
a
supposed
year
to kill
ago.
the damn dragons.
Like I said, I stopped using Facebook. I stopped using phones. I was just in the house raising the kids. And
Thanks for the heads up.
I started talking to everybody, my friends and stuff again, which I only keep a close knit, you know, friends that I grew up with, high school and after, and then all their family is my family. So the past year, a lot went on. my best friend could never get pregnant, so I was a surrogate for her, and I had a baby. Her name is Charlie, and that was for Amber and Jay, her husband Jay, and she's so beautiful, and they're so happy. So their family's really like complete now, and she has a baby on the way. Charlie brought fertility, I guess. She got pregnant a couple months after she was born, so now she's going to have 2 little girls. But I always like to say that Amber kind of helped raise me. She was always the adult in the group.
I wish you believe you were. Would you believe I had a shred of decency?
So she's helping me a lot right now because I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, you're right. It's fine.
I only have my mother right now because I stopped driving about 8 years ago when I started staying in the house. And he always kept saying, I'm going to get you a car. And never did. Again. So here I am. I opened my first bank account last week or the week before, and I'm 34 now. So I know this sounds crazy. It's one of those horror stories that you hear about, that I would hear about, and that people would tell me was going to happen. You know, I would ask him what would happen if something happened to you, and he would say the VA covers everything. The VA. It turns out he didn't have VA, and my husband was sick. He would help everybody, and he would help them with one hand and scold them with another. It was that old school type of mentality. But he was sick, and he lied. He couldn't help it. He had that disease, and he would lie just to lie and be very detailed, and everybody believed his stories. My mother nicknamed him Don the Con right after we met, but he doesn't have anything. All that's left right now is this deli and Social Security that I'm trying to apply for, which has been very difficult because you need a lot of things that I don't have. He doesn't have my birth certificate or Social Security card, anything like that. I need a death certificate. I need all these papers. So ever since he passed, it's every day is a different place, and every place you go to, it's 10 more steps to even get back to what you're trying to do, and then it's just waiting and waiting, and landlords are popping up as they do. I've decided with a friend of his, Muhammad, who has a deli in New York and is going to sign a lease with me here, and we're going to try and make this go. I don't want to lose Don's deli. He did make a name for himself in these towns, the delis, and I'm just really upset because I never thought he would do this. Sometimes the way he talked to me, maybe there was a chance if it was just me, okay, you're left with nothing. But why the kids? I'm doing everything I can, and I will do everything I can. I have the house, which luckily we moved here a little over a year ago, is in the area, and it's low rent for what it is, I think. So that's the most important thing, is not to lose the house.
Don't listen to him, Becky.
I was just gonna tell him you're his real daddy.
That is my story.
Just kidding.
I was married, did the housewife thing,
Slut.
Shut your mouth.
Oh, what? You're a white knight now?
took care of every single little thing,
You're the worst mistake she ever made.
and was left with nothing.
Second worst. After keeping you.
And it's shocking to keep saying, because
C-minus playing with 10
people would say that to me and be like, no, I know people who were married for years and
Back off, cowboy.
their husbands actually had things to leave, money or property, stuff like that, and didn't leave them that. And I didn't think, if Don even really did have anything like that, which he said he did, that he would leave to me. I know that just the way he talked. But I didn't think he would leave us with no accounts, any accounts that there are in different people's names.
Oh, you don't want to
So they're taking the money even though I'm the one putting the inventory in, things like that.
shut your mouth.
So we had to change all the accounts. And that's it. I'm on my own now, restarting like a 16-year-old out of high school, learning everything. I didn't even know how to use the lottery machine. It was like an electronic big screen. So I figured I'd start doing these videos.
Just a dead.
And I always wanted to.
Now, what was it you wanted to say?
I just didn't know how, really. And I guess I'll just videotape or video diary, like some that I've watched before, of my life right now, what's going on step by step. Because this is the deli. It's Don's Deli right now, but I'm going to change the name. I'm not sure on the name yet. I have 2 ideas, but I have to talk to the partner too, because that's the one thing I wanted. You know, it's not like I'm going into this with nothing. Everything in here is mine. So it's like the inventory and the equipment and stuff. And I did help him run previous delis that he owned throughout the years. Like I said, we were married 18 years. So he had a lot of different things during those times, and because he would con people and nobody ever knew what he did with his money. He did make a lot of money here and there all the time. No one ever knows where it went. He was a car dealer as well, so he did that. He always with the quick and fast money, but was not very financially responsible. I always said he had the mentality of a 16-year-old. But here's a picture of me and my little girl. That's what he kept in here. Today's a Sunday, so I just kind of don't usually open on Sundays, but the little bit of cash that comes in I need for food. The baby has food. There's a lot of food here and at the house, obviously, but I only eat certain things. I do things in routine. So I guess you'll learn that with me. That's how I remember things too, because I had an injury years ago. So I have a hard time remembering things. I forget things and stuff easily. But this is the deli. Did it freeze up? Okay, there we go. This is the deli, and we're going to change a lot, so that's why I wanted to videotape it beforehand. You walk in, and you see, everything. This was a lot different. I changed a lot of things around already. This is a small little coffee area for now, because I want it to be like a, what's that expression? Like a low key wawa. I guess those are also called gas station stores. Anyway, but you know, you sell the food in here, which I want to keep because it's smart, because we have the food stamps, which I'll have to apply for. We can't use them right now, but we have that. And then it's going to be more soda machines. All this wood's going to be ripped out, apparently. That's what Muhammad and I were telling Don to do before he got sick, because, you know, you need a bigger deli case and display. And the main thing is, when you walk back here, look at how much space this is. And we're killing it with the square footage. I mean, this is all dead space. My daughter messed that up a little. You know, I got all this going on. But see, from here to here, it's way too much. We're walking, like, from the grill, you're walking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's like 7. So all of this is going to be pushed back, so it's not so much. And then I got a lot of stuff going on right here. And then you're at the register. So this is all going to go back further too, like a little store. So I wanted to get a video, at least too, of what the deli looked like before, when Don had it. Because I know that he did me wrong. And I always knew that. You know, we'll get into stories as time goes on, and the way he treated me. But there was like two sides of it. But the one thing in his life was he always wanted to be the corner man, you know. The deli guy on the corner that all the kids know, because they come in and he lets them have the stuff, or if they're short on change, you know, always sweeping outside, which I always like too, because it reminds me of like where I came from type of thing. It's the old school Italians sitting outside of the deli. You don't see that anymore, and I miss that. That just gave me a good idea for the deli, because I always say, you know, my family, my thing, my values, my morals, they all come from the Cosa Nostra. So people don't know what that means, but it means this thing of ours. So that'd be a cool name for it. I'm trying to think, but so that's my story for right now. My daughter's out playing with her friend. She comes every other weekend. She is beautiful, and she's having a hard time. I don't think she fully understands it yet, and it hits her at different points. She was crying in her room again this morning. She'll cry in front of me, which I want her to, and I want her to express her feelings, because that's what I did when my dad died. I didn't know how to express it and no one to talk to, and I didn't feel that I could, and that destroyed me. It destroyed me, and I lost a lot because of it years later. But, you know, from time to time she'll be sitting on her bed in her room with a picture off the wall of her dad and his clothes. She was holding on to a sweater again this morning. I think she's seen me do it. There's like a sweater and a coat that we didn't wash that smells like him. So she does that, and then, you know, I just talk to her and tell her that it was his time and that he's an angel now. You just don't expect this kind of thing to happen. It was Christmas, and Christmas was fine. The only real signs of anything coming where that this past year or so he was getting sick more often with colds, and he never got sick. If he ever even got sick, he would be sick for one day maybe, boom, but never stayed home from work. Even when he got cancer in his throat, he was battling that for 2 years, and he still got up and went to do chemo, or I'd drive him to chemo. We'd sit in the recliners, take him home, and off to work he'd go. He would never even sit, never. So I was very worried the past 6 months or so, and begging him, if God forbid something happens, do you have things in order? What's going to happen? How do I do this? How do I do that? Teach me how to pay the Comcast bill. And he just always just wouldn't talk about it, or would say the VA will take care of everything. Well, nothing got taken care of. He wanted his body donated to science, so they took it, and they're going to send the ashes soon now. And there's nothing. There's not even money to do a service or a memorial. I have the little bucket here, and it did have about $10 in ones in it, but someone stole that while my back was turned. You gotta watch these people because it's sad. Everybody knows what's going on, and they still steal from you. All of them. And there's no cameras that were working in the beginning, so couldn't say anything then. Now everything's rigged up, but I just honestly, to my core, never thought he would even, I never thought he would die. I wasn't even worried when he had the cancer. I just, part of me knew he was going to be okay. And I feel like he was going to be okay. We don't understand why he said to stop the medicine. His oldest daughter from a previous marriage was with him, and she said it was because he wanted the feeding tube out, because he wanted Pepsi, which also made no sense because he didn't even really drink soda, hardly ever. He liked iced tea. But it's a horror story come true. I always even would say when we would fight and stuff, I was always like, we're separated, or if I leave you, I'm still going to have to come back and take care of you every single night, because, I'm thinking, because I would always say, when I do leave you, I don't want half of what you have. I don't want anything. I don't want that and the deli and stuff. I just wanted a car. And I felt like I deserved a car for everything that we've been through. So I was always like, I'm going to have to come back every night if I ever do just leave you. And because he was diabetic and he would not take medication on his own. And he also needed to take like the like Prozac and things like that to make him calmer and not so angry, because he was just like that old school Marine. He was 63. I don't know if I mentioned. So there was a big age gap. It was a 28-year age gap between us. So, we were always like, you're acting like a grumpy old man now. But that was what I mean. This past year, he was getting sick. There was a few times he didn't even come here. He just laid in bed all day watching TV, which he never really did. He's not a TV guy. And he didn't open the shop a couple of days. He never, ever, ever not went to work. So there was signs that he was like getting tired. But, I just thought that was him starting to dwindle down and maybe retire, maybe eventually at some point. And then he had a heart attack out of nowhere, which is a good lesson too, because the way that happened was there were no signs, no symptoms leading up to it. Just the night before, he had really bad indigestion. He had heartburn all day, and then he didn't feel good, so he came home early. He walked in, he said he was sick, so he lay down, and I was giving him food and drink and medicine. And then I gave him some Omeprazole, I think that's how you say that, like Prozac or whatever, for the heartburn that he was having, and he was taking Tums all day here at the shop. And then we went to bed, and he was fine when he went to bed. He was playing hide and seek with Vienna before bed like he always does, so he was up and about. And her and I went to bed, and then it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. He was like violently throwing up, and then he was just screaming, "Help me, help me, help me." So I went out to help him, and he could barely walk, and he said, "I'm having a heart attack." So I called the ambulance, and they said he was having a heart attack. So, like, I always thought a heart attack like you see in the movies, or maybe not as quick, but even one of his old friends that lived with us, he had a heart attack, and he said that he just dropped and said, "I'm having a heart attack." It was just like a huge pain. And so that's what I always thought that would be. Like, you're having a heart attack, something goes down your arm, you're in pain, you can't move. This apparently was him having a heart attack for almost 24 hours. So now every time I get heartburn this past month, which I wasn't getting before, now I am, I get real nervous because I'm like, I'm on heart medication, and all the stress, all I keep seeing is commercials about stress causing heart attacks, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, I shouldn't say that. Jesus, it's just like, geez. I was like, why am I getting heartburn now? So that's scary. It's good to know then. Because I guess a lot of people probably don't know that either. So be careful for those warning signs. I guess we need to educate ourselves better on things that are going to kill us. All right. Well, again, I am Dana, and I guess I get followers, the people that watch my video and want to help. I have a Cash App so far at, I think it's B, the letter B, FLYDANE 123. I think it's bflydane. I use that for everything. I always have. It's actually short for butterfly. It's what I used to call my Mustang that I had years ago that he had got me. It was the B-Fly, but it had butterflies on it. Anyway, so that's bflydane. It's 123, I think. So there's that, and then I have a GoFundMe page. I guess wherever I upload this video, I'll have to put links, because I should write that down. And then this TikTok, I'm pretty sure the TikTok's bflydane 123. So any help, every cent and dollar means something right now. I need the rent, and he wants me to show that I can pay the rent every month, or he's going to sell the house. That's what he said yesterday. And I said that once the Social Security check is coming, that is the rent, and that I can pay that every month. It's just a matter of time right now, and it's time that I don't have. Every day, like I said, 1 steps, 10 more steps, and then it's waiting. And it's only been, I guess it's going on 2 weeks now since he passed.
5 shells, that's how I'm doing.
But it's like you can't get things done that quickly, and I understand that people need their money and they need to be paid and they need to eat because, you know, my rent probably pays another mortgage of his or his mortgage or his bills, so I understand that. So it's just a matter of time and help. I'm not the type of person that borrows money and stuff from people, but it's time to ask for help now. At this point, I do need help, and I have a couple options that I'm looking into and things that I am waiting